Hi, welcome back to the Quiet Zone. I'm Susan Patang. Today's video lesson is 4 ways to handle criticism without using a hand grenade. I'm going to screen share for us so you get to see it. Okay, share. There we go. All right. Okay, so welcome to 4 ways to handle criticism without using a hand grenade. The first strategy that you want to use to deal with criticism is to use a skill called reflective listening. This is just where you reflect back what you've heard. Here are some examples that I've got on the screen for you. It sounds like you think this dress is too short. It seems like you don't want to eat right now. I'm hearing that you think the trampoline is too dangerous. Is it fair to say that you're not a fan of this store? Remember that your tone is the difference between being conversational and collaborative and cooperative and being bitchy. Okay. You don't want to throw that hand grenade unless you absolutely have to. So, a second strategy that you can use for deflecting criticism is to agree or deflect. Okay. You're probably right. Maybe I should take the hem down on this skirt. Oh, you may be right. It may be a little too early to eat, but I'm a little nibbly and I thought you might be too. I hadn't thought about the trampoline as dangerous since we have safety rules in place, but you've definitely given me something to consider. I hadn't noticed that the prices in the store are higher. You've given me something to think about. So you see the difference between the two different techniques. Agreeing, you're probably right. Maybe I should take the hem down. And deflecting, which is, I hadn't thought about that, but you've given me something to think about. Okay. It really doesn't matter which way you go with this. I do have to say that if somebody is criticizing you for something that's true, you want to agree and you want to fix it as soon as possible. Most of the time, though, criticism is unwanted and unwarranted. So you can either agree with it or deflect it. Now, just because you agree with it doesn't mean that you're going to change a damn thing. You're agreeing with them to stop an argument from starting. Okay. If your self-esteem is healthy, it's not really going to matter to you whether or not they're you're agreeing or not. It doesn't matter. Strategy number 3, turn it around. And this is a really good technique to use for nosy people like Nosy Aunt Rosie and Jen the Office Cooler Gossip Genie. We all have one. So you could say things like, wow, that's what I really love about you, Auntie. You're so concerned that my love life is happy. Thank you. You're a really good friend to ask me about my blind date last night, Jen. Thanks for thinking of me. You're a good friend. It sounds like you're really worried that I'll never get married and have kids. Thank you for being so concerned. I love you for that. Okay. Do you notice again my tone? Okay. I'm not being snarky. I'm not being sarcastic and I'm not being snotty. I'm being very kind and loving. Now, this technique is really good when you turn it around like that. Some nosy people are always going to persist. Okay. And you can shut them down by setting a limit. So the XYZ formula is really good for doing that. And that's when you do X, I feel Y, and I'd like Z. Okay. And again, your tone is the crucial difference between being nice and nasty. All of these statements that I'm giving you in this video, if you use them and you're being a little snotty or a little sarcastic, people are going to think that you're condescending. Okay. So if this is a relationship that you really don't care about and you want to scare them away, yeah, go for it. Be snotty. But if it's somebody that you have to work with or a family member or your mother-in-law, you definitely want to keep it friendly and keep it sweet because these are people that you're going to have to interact with in the future. Now, when you set a limit, you can get a little more forceful. So, for example, when you criticize my clothing, I feel hurt and I'd like you to stop doing that. Okay. So you can still say it in a nice way, unless you really want to shut them down. And that's when you put that heavy duty tone in there. When you disagree with everything that I want to do, I get frustrated. Can we please find a way to come to a compromise? When you criticize the way I handle the kids, I get upset. Could you please keep your reservations to yourself from now on? When you refuse to go into a store that I like, I get angry. Can we please take turns choosing the stores we shop in? So, setting a limit is something that you're going to do when you want to put a little more power behind that. Okay. Um, and be careful again because your tone is going to make a big difference. Okay. There is more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. How to handle conflict without stress and anxiety is a better way to get along with everyone in your life. Maybe you come home from your mother-in-law's and you cry for 2 hours. All she does is criticize everything you do. Or you constantly battle your spouse over chores, the kids, money, and you ask yourself, how can we work this stuff out without fighting all the time? And of course, we talked about nosy Aunt Rosie. We all have one who wants to know either when you're getting married or when you're going to have another kid or whatever for the millionth time, bless her heart. Um, but how do you shut her down without hurting her feelings? So it's time for my power session. How to handle conflict without stress and anxiety will teach you how to deal with your nasty boss and still stay sane and not get fired. You'll learn the best way to communicate and be heard, how to negotiate through conflict, how to diffuse criticism, which we touched on here, and how to deflect nosy people. So after one 45-minute session, you'll be able to handle your mother-in-law without starting a war and communicate with your partner without fighting and take back some of the control in your life, because a lot of the stress that we go through in life has to do with our interactions with other people that sometimes turn unpleasant. So I'm going to teach you the 6 rules of communication, how to ask for what you want, how to set limits. We're going to go over the limit setting a little more in the class, all without being bitchy, all in under an hour, all for $97. Okay, go to www.thequietzonecoaching.com. There are limited spaces available for this class, and it is not going to be up much longer. So please go to the website as soon as you can. There, you can pay for it and schedule it right from the website. So you can grab your slot before they're all gone. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful, amazing day.